everyone, this is RadTechShoe, and today I am bringing you a video about how to get better in Destiny Crucible. So I'm going to be giving you all my tips and tricks that I have learned since I started playing Destiny back in January, and this is by no means a guide on how to go flawless 9-0 in Trials of Osiris. This is nothing like that. This is general tips, tricks, and advice on how to get better in regular Crucible and Iron Banner. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first rule I have is pretty much common sense, but a lot of us seem to forget it, and that is to be patient. You have to be patient. Whenever you are trying to learn something that is new to you, you're going to struggle. It's not going to be, familiar territory. You're going to be out of your element, and you're going to have to be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the learning curve, because there is a learning curve and a bit of a skill gap in this game. I have noticed that. It's, it may not be the greatest skill gap. There is definitely some random factors and luck involved, and, but for the most part, you're going to have to be patient when it comes to wanting to get better at Destiny's Crucible. If you're playing Crucible, for the first time, don't expect to just tear it up. Don't expect to beast it up in any way, shape, or form. Just be patient. Be patient with yourself, and just acknowledge, understand, and accept that you are going to get destroyed. You are going to get annihilated by better players with better strategies who know what to do, when to do it. They are going to exploit every flaw that you have, and you're just going to have to roll with it and be patient. And slowly but surely, you will adopt better strategies. You will go from the guy that goes, how the hell did he do that? You will go from that guy to, man, now I can do that, no problem. I can do that basically on reflex. So surely, slowly but surely, you will get better. You just have to be patient. So that is the first cardinal rule of learning anything and trying to get better, is you have to be patient with yourself. The second tip is kind of a two-parter. It is knowledge and strengths. And what I mean by that is knowledge is really important. You need to know what guns are good, and what guns are good, what maps to use them on, what strategies to utilize, what weapons are best utilized with certain strategies. And strengths, obviously, play to your strengths. Play to the strengths of the weapons you're using, play to the strengths of the maps, and just, play to the individual strengths of the whatever character you're using, whether it's a hunter, a titan, or a warlock. Playing to the strengths of the game modes that you're in, the weapons, the maps, using layouts and stuff like that. It's very important to do these things, because quite frankly, when you're playing to the strengths, you're increasing your chances of winning gunfights, and you're gonna win more games. If you win more gunfights, you'll win more games, and you'll do better overall. Your score will improve. So it's very important that you know the strengths and then you play to those strengths. So for instance, let's say I'm trying to use the Ouroboros regime, a fairly decent auto rifle. It's not as great, it's nowhere near as great as it used to be, but it's still a decent weapon, and it's rather fun to use, and I enjoyed using it when I was acquiring gameplay for this. It has that perk where the bottom half of the magazine deals bonus damage, and it has a chance of refilling my health when I'm dealing damage. Each round of damage that's dealt has a chance of giving me health as it's dealing damage. And I know for a fact that it only works on like the bottom half of the magazine and stuff like that. So if I'm constantly reloading my Ouroboros, I'm never going to be able to utilize the bottom half of that magazine as often as I could. So I'll get into a gunfight and I'll fire like 8 to 10 shots, and sometimes I'll get the kill, sometimes my teammates will take the kill from me, and I'll just get an assist. But I won't reload the Ouroboros. I'll play, because I still have plenty of ammo left. I only fired like 8 to 10 rounds, but I will. But by playing with part of the magazine already used up, it allows me to use that one perk of the Ouroboros sooner and play to the strengths of that gun, because that is definitely one of the strengths of the Ouroboros regime, is that perk. Same thing with the Red Death, is the ability to give me health and reload faster. I quickly get a kill, and then after I get the kill I reload, so I have a full magazine, and bam, right here, we're ready to go, and I'm constantly engaging enemies. I'm not hesitating. I play to the strengths of the guns that I'm using. Right here in a tunnel, use a fusion rifle or a shotgun, so that because they have nowhere to run. Play to the strengths of whatever weapons you're using, and utilize the strengths of the characters too. For instance, if you're a hunter or a warlock, even if you don't like it and you think it's a cheap tactic, don't hesitate to use the blink. You know, the blink is a very, very effective strategy. You know, especially if you're trying to get the drop on someone. Utilize the strengths of the grenades, like for instance vortex grenades. Throw them on objectives. You know, try use those grenades like the lightning grenade for the Titan or the trip mine grenade for the hunter. Stick them to walls where you think enemies are about to run through, and bam, you know, just set traps for them. Play to the strengths of the characters, the weapons they're using, even the map layouts. As you can tell, I try and use choke points. I try and be smart. I use head glitches. It's not about just running out there, balls to the walls, you know, and, you know, trying to say, who wants some? You're going to have to kind of play smart. Utilize head glitches, play smart, you know when to attack, when to retreat. Like I said, it's not just about playing to the strengths. It's about knowing how the game operates, knowing how weapons work, what weapons are good in what situations, and, you know, when to pull out what. You know, as you can tell right there, I could have used the Red Death, but instead I chose to use the shotgun, and I managed to trade blows with a guy, and we both killed each other, even with a 2-on-1 disadvantage that I was in. So it's all about knowledge and strengths. Knowing what does what, when to use what, and playing to those strengths, playing to your strengths as a person. What playstyle suits you? Are you a rusher? Are you a more of a laid-back, you know, passive-aggressive person that likes to pick people off as they run by? You know, there's no wrong way to play this game. True, some playstyles are looked down upon. You know, the campers, they're not really, you know, praised for what they do in this game. But there really is no wrong way to play this game. Play to your strengths, whatever they are, and understand that, you know, it's just, you know, it's about getting kills and not getting killed. And you want to play as hard as you can so that you can kill as many people as you can. So play smart, play hard, understand the strengths of the weapons, the maps, and the characters, and play to those strengths. The next piece of advice I have to give you is to party up. Find friends, make friends on this game. It's very easy to make friends. I've made a lot of friends on this game, and party up with them. You know, every now and then get together and say, hey guys, you want to go do some Crucible, you know, stuff like that. And believe it or not, even with kind of a ragtag, you know, team where, you know, they're not all that great, you can actually do better because there's communication, there's coordination, there's trust, there's respect. And those are great ways to improve your game overall and to improve your chances of doing better. When you have someone who's willing to hold on to that heavy ammo and not pick it up just yet, wait for you to get over there and get it, it's a great way to improve your chances of winning because you have teammates that are looking out for your back. They're not just looking out for number one themselves, they are looking out for you and their team. They're playing the objective, they are going hard in the paint with you, they are literally out there, not just for themselves, but they're out there for you as well. So partying up and making friends, you know, not just in Crucible. I've gotten multiple Crucible invites, but also use your friends to make other friends. You know, Dr. 159, I met him through Bumblebee Tuna 777, and we've been inseparable ever since. You know, we do all the weekly stuff together. Whenever the weekly refresh happens, we are there right as the refresh happens. We refresh and then we go do the Nightfalls, then we do Heroic Strikes, you know, Prison of Elders. We do all this stuff, and we love to join, you know, Doctor might not be a big fan of Crucible, but he does do it with us occasionally, every now and then, and he has found a Crucible game mode that he likes. He likes the Inferno Control one, because he doesn't like people, whoring out the radar and just camping, you know, and you know, saying that, you know, oh no, stay away from me and stuff like that. He doesn't like campers. He likes to play aggressively, and that is definitely more towards his playstyle, the Inferno Control. But yeah, this is a great way to make friends, and playing with friends, it drastically improves your chances. You know, you can have one great guy on the enemy team, and on your team you can have a bunch of average people. But if there's teamwork, there's coordination, you're working together, you're going to play, you're attacking objectives together, you're moving as a team, you support one another. That is a great way to improve your chances and to do better overall, because you're playing like a team should. You're working together, and as you can see right here, no doubt in that footage you just saw me, going lone wolf strategy does yield results, but if I had waited for a teammate, I might have been able to get off that Nova Bomb and wipe out all three of those enemies in my near area. So as you can tell, playing with a team and partying up is a great way to get good results. It improves your chances of winning. Your stats will definitely go up. You will have a lot more fun. You know, you'll enjoy the game a lot more when you're playing with friends and you're just like, you know, tearing it up, you know, together. You're tearing it up with each other, and it's just a great experience. It's a lot of fun. I strongly encourage you to, bring friends into your game and just kind of mess around, have fun. Don't go full tryhard all the time, but just have some fun, and this game will be exponentially better for all of you. I guarantee it. Okay, so we've gone over 3 basic tips. The first one being being patient with yourself and understanding that you're going to have to go through a lot of effort in order to get better. The second one being that, you need to understand the strengths of weapons, maps, and certain play styles and characters. And the third one, and also play to those strengths. And the third one is teaming up and partying up with friends to improve your chances of winning and doing better in Crucible and just having fun in general. So now let's move on to the 4th tip. The 4th one I have to go over is kind of a slight caveat off of the knowledge, tip, and it's to stay current. Stay current with up-to-date information. Like, for instance, very soon we're about to have the 2.0 weapons update, and that's going to completely change the meta. We have no idea what the meta is going to be. We just know that guns that were bad are going to be good now, and they're going to try and make things competitive. Auto rifles are going to try and break onto the scene. So the Suros, the Hardlight, the Necrochasm, all these guns that were kind of meh or pretty terrible, they're going to be given a chance to shine in the spotlight now. So one thing so that's why you see me and Bubblebee, we're playing around with auto rifles. Dr. 159, he doesn't like Crucible all that much, but when he does play Crucible, he likes to use the Suros. We like auto rifles. I like auto rifles a lot, just because they kind of look cool. And I gravitate a little bit more towards the Suros. But staying up to date and current with the meta and how it changes is a great way to give yourself more opportunities, because quite frankly, you definitely don't want to be behind, and you want to know what guns are good and popular now and why and what makes them good. For instance, shotguns are all very, very good right now. Why are they good? They have excellent range, but there's a perk called Shot Package where the spread of the pellets is dramatically decreased, which increases the chances of one-shot kills with those pump-action shotguns. And those pump-action shotguns usually have very respectable range and damage. They have a great combination of damage. The accuracy, though, and stability aren't that great, but if you're one-shotting people from a decent range and you're putting them down before they have a chance to kill you, unless they're using a shotgun, you're going to increase your chances of just, wrecking people and not dying. Like I said earlier, it's about getting kills and not getting killed. Like I said, knowing the meta and kind of playing to the strengths of the meta. Like I said, this is kind of a caveat off of the second rule. Knowing and playing to those strengths is definitely an advantage. But every now and then, you can just stick around. I mean, right there, you just saw me use the Vex Mythoclast. That's not really a powerful weapon. It's a fun, decent weapon, and it's good at close range. But it's not what I would consider, what the meta would, see as a top tier, powerful weapon. It's a decent weapon. But you wanna understand the meta. Right now, the Thorn is dominating the meta, and if you want to do your best, hand cannons are definitely a good way to go. Whether it's the Thorn, the Last Word, the Hawk Moon, or even the Fulcrum, which is a legendary gun that I re-rolled and turned it into a mini Hawk Moon. So if you want to play smart, if you want to do the best you can, playing to the strengths of the meta. Not just using the only gun that's good, like for instance, I'm not saying only use the Thorn. God, no. Have fun and mix things up. Just understand that there are some weapons that are not going to perform as well as others in a majority of situations. Don't be using, the worst guns in the game and expect to be able to compete with the best guns. Play smart when you play with guns that aren't the best, but are still solid. I mean, right here I'm using the Suros. And you notice I'm not rushing, I'm not playing too aggressive, I'm not engaging people with the Thorn out in the open. I'm trying to play smart, I'm trying to utilize what I can in order to give myself whatever advantage I can so I can do good with this gun. It's all about playing smart. If you play smart, you can beat people with better weapons by using, weapons that aren't as good. And that just pisses people off. I love that. I love killing people with, fusion rifles and stuff like that when they're running around with Thorns. I love that. It just feels so good. So, I strongly recommend that you understand and pay attention to whatever the meta is at the time. and utilize it to, you know, its fullest extent. Like I said, you don't have to use the only #1 gun in the meta, obviously. It's player choice, it's player preference. Use what you feel comfortable with, and don't hesitate to mix things up. Like, you know, like, I'm not a huge fan of pulse rifles, but I love the Bad Juju, actually. I think it's a fun gun. The Bad Juju's fun. I like it a little bit more than the Red Death, personally. But I also have a legendary pulse rifle, the Conduit. You've seen me use it in this video, where if I get precision kills with it, it has an insanely fast reload, and it has very good stability. I just play around with a variety of guns, but I have to pay attention to my tactics. I have to pay attention to how I engage my enemies and make sure that I try to engage them in areas or in situations that give me an advantage. As you saw me use on a fusion rifle right here, when I was walking around the corner, I started charging up. I didn't just run around the corner and try and charge up on reflex. I ran around the corner and pretty much, you know, I didn't pre-fire, because you can't really pre-fire with a fusion rifle, but I did, you know, rev up my fusion rifle and get it ready before I actually saw an opponent. So it's very important that you understand, you know, the meta, and play to that, and use that meta and how the meta is working right now, and use it to your advantage whenever you can. It's a very, very smart and effective strategy, and it's a great way to have fun when you're killing people using the best guns in the game, and, you know, you're dicking around with, you know, joke weapons or weapons that are clearly inferior. And, you know, it's just such a great feeling to kill the people who are going full on try hard, and you're just having fun with mid-tier weapons at best. And you're beating them because you're outsmarting them, and you're choosing the right times to engage them, and making it so that it's when it's your advantage to, you know, in the gunfight. And that, you know, like I said, that's just a great feeling. I just love it. So that's gonna do it. I'm gonna recap all the major points, and we're gonna end this video up right here. So let's get right into it. The first rule, the first tactic rather, is being patient. You're gonna have to be patient with yourself. I strongly imply that this is maybe the most important of all the tips, because patience is a virtue, and you're going to have to be patient when learning how to get better, especially if you're learning a new strategy. If there's a playstyle you want to learn, like for instance blinking shotguns, and you've never really done it before, and you're not sure how to do it, and you're not that good with the blink in the first place, or your shotguns just aren't your thing, you're going to have to be patient. There's a learning curve with this game. It's a learning process. There's going to be ups and downs. You're going to struggle, especially with something new that you're not familiar with, you're not already accustomed to. And just be patient with yourself and how good you're going to learn. Understand you have limits, and just be patient. The second tip is knowledge and strengths. Know what you're good at, know what weapons are good in certain situations, and so on and so forth, and then play to those strengths. Remember, it's all about you playing good. It's all about you doing good. Alright, if other people, we've all had people call us out, you know, saying like, oh, what's wrong? Can't you play like this one? Can't you do this, this, and this? And they try and get you to do something, they try and get you to play to how they feel that you should. And that's not what it's about, people. It's about you playing to your strengths and playing in a way that you know and understand, and that you can execute with consistency and reliability and dominate the opposition. The third tip is to party up. As stated before, it is a great way to not only improve your chances of getting the big W, but also to have fun. Because when you're having fun, and like sometimes, me and Bumblebee, we will just go on absolute terrors. There was one game on the Cauldron where we just both, he had like 2 10-kill streaks, I had a 15-kill streak. We put the match away in like 6 minutes, just a regular game of Control. We just had an absolute blast. And even when the bad moments are when you're going through the bad times, like all the bullshit moments, it's more enjoyable to go with a friend, because that way you can laugh it off with them. And the last tip and the last piece of advice I have for you is understanding the meta and utilizing it to great extent so that you can gain the best advantage possible, utilizing weapons and tactics at the same time. Whenever it's to your advantage, play to your strengths when it comes to the meta. And also, with the 2.0 weapons update coming up, the meta's going to shift, so stay on top of that if you want the best chances of doing well in Crucible. And I'll see you guys all later. I'd like to thank you all for joining me here. Please don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, comment below, check out my other playlists, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Thank you very much for joining. This is RadTechShoe signing off.